during
Yeah.
the period
It's rough.
between the meetings.
Never been out of the house.
That's still the treasurer's report.
Maybe half.
Yeah, it's up past all of that. So right behind the transfer order.
That's where it is.
Can't get away
That's
from
why I
it.
took mine. Not back far enough.
Get away.
Was that, you getting punished or what?
Community service on that in the bathroom.
George was being
Probably
Casey Johnson was with him throughout the,
Was that correct?
That's the problem with the way we're doing these now. These used to
I
be
don't
up
know what
front.
their official status is.
So there's all the pre-authorized. And so you've got 3 of them.
Each of Wilson's got one, or get along with.
Oh, there's your notes.
Those show up there,
Okay.
and they also show up here. Same dates and same everything.
I am assuming that it's because of the dates that they were pulled.
Check that life
We
experience
did
out
a
of the way.
pre-authorized. So
What do you want it for,
the
Tim?
bills that we're paying does not include like those like 2 bills on there.
Was your daughter doing the CPR?
He was
Or,
right beside her.
hold on, they
Because
shouldn't be,
it still says October.
right, like they shouldn't be the pre-authorized. They should be on the
Yeah, that's
bills
a life
list.
experience.
See, they're here, they're on,
We checked that box
That
earlier.
one.
I believe so,
see, they're on pre-authorized,
right.
and then they're on the regular bills list.
I think the
You have one daughter
pre-authorized
and one
is the
son?
mistake,
Yeah.
but I
saw
can go
both
check
standing
them.
out.
Just as long as you know about it, I just
Right.
look, by looking at it, I thought, well, they got paid twice.
Right, they did not get paid twice. I know that much, but if I can find out.
That's just as long as you,
Yeah, but I wanna make myself a note.
that way,
To
because
look.
there wasn't no sense taking
So
up time
just
in the
like, there was
meeting.
like 2 specifically, right?
That's the only 2 I found.
Okay, yeah, I'll make a note of it and I'll look it up.
Just as long as you know about it. I wasn't gonna bring up time in court if I saw you ahead of
Got the
time,
egg game today?
because it's not a big deal.
Iron.
Door trying to kill you, Chris? Hey, Alicia.
Bluegrass, hello. Oh, we've been trying to contact each other and we've been missing each
I was
other.
wondering if I could book some time with you. And I've sent you this.
Yes.
but
How you
doing?
basically just, there's things that you're gonna be able to say, well, all of these are X.
Right.
And I just want to parallel with what you're doing so we can do comparatives.
Well, they got an order for that, I think.
You know, I want to show the trends, where we're headed, good or bad. Okay, want me to just call you later and then?
Yeah, that's
I wasn't gonna bother you when you had the auditors in there.
Yeah, like you were avoiding the auditors, like
Well-
I can't avoid the auditors. And they're
gonna be
still here.
I told Susie, I said,
Far as I
I'll
know.
call her until
Yeah.
she's.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's getting aggravated on the auditors too.
Susie?
Yes,
Nah, she's fine.
well,
She's
it's
getting
been,
aggravated with
it's
this
been more than a
frame.
year.
Yeah.
That's more of the problem. But,
Oh, for the audit?
yeah.
Well, they keep asking her for stuff that either has never been asked before, or she's already given,
Right,
or they won't walk across the street to get it, you know?
right.
So we have to scan it all in, well, we can just give it to you.
I feel the exact same way.
Well, we've both done it. We've annoyed somebody with the same stuff in our career.
I don't feel like I've been that annoying though. I mean, I try not to be.
Are they just new people learning?
I think this one is just a little bit more difficult because a lot of the staff, I was not here. Because they're still in like 2020. So a lot of the staff has changed. So like trying to find out where everything is, and then they're just doing a lot more because
That
the
means
state
you won't
auditor's
have to do
office like
this
does a
anymore.
different plan than the CPA firms do. So
That means you won't have to do it again, and this will be the worst one, probably.
I'm hoping so because we've already scheduled a CPA firm for the next audit. So it seems like this one is done. Yeah, it's the same one.
She never did get
So
back.
he'll come in for 2 weeks. I will scan everything in, and I will be gone.
Thank you for doing
So
that.
No
we're
problem.
glad with that.
Take a vacation.
Oh, right. And,
Well, I'll call you later, and whatever you've got
Yeah.
available, hopefully it won't take a half hour.
oh no, 'cause I've got exactly that. With a detailed. With the detailed.
You're on the
receipt
agenda,
for
Stuart.
Butcher.
Okay.
So
Well,
that
then,
will match
chances are,
up
if I just get a
exactly.
new card table, I'll sit there and go through it. I
Yep.
just want
It
us
should
on the
match up
same
exactly.
page.
Yep.
And that way we're not talking apples and oranges.
Right.
Okay, well, I appreciate it.
You're
I'll give you a
welcome.
call.
All right, I'll leave a note.
Same crowd, isn't it?
Yeah.
The card.
Hey, Chief. Sure, have you talked to Puckett in the last couple of days? Or
Who?
Puckett.
No, sir.
He scared me to death the other day. About got him. He was chasing a dog across McClure Road. And the sun was in my eyes. And I barely didn't see him. About didn't see him or the dog. I called him afterwards. I said, man, you scared me to death. I said, that something was right by us. Got locked up fire.
Chris,
Morning, how are you?
good, how are you doing?
Okay.
I said I'll call me and say.
Said hello to all your friends yesterday morning.
I bet you did.
And I tell you that.
I bet you didn't tell them you knew me or they'd throw rocks at you.
Michelle coming?
Tell you what, a lot of
She's been here,
activity
so
going on up there.
I'm assuming she's.
Development applications.
There are.
plans.
That's
Always are.
After I got back.
It's a busy place, no doubt about it.
Send them a lot more information.
What's gonna do with their trash after
Gonna get
October
real here
31st?
in a little few months, isn't it? A couple months.
Their wastewater treatment plant, they're like, well, we're just gonna keep, their price is doubling. It went from 450 a load to 825 a load. To get rid of their wastewater treatment plant material. And the director just this morning said, we're just gonna keep bringing it to you till January. And I said, no, you're not. No, you're not. Don't you guys read the newspaper? Yeah, they don't, a lot of them don't know how real it's gonna get. I think her clock's wrong up there, isn't it? Janet?
I got 9:28.
That's not 28.
That was fast last time we were here too.
I need to take that down.
Hello.
Or Michelle?
Good morning, Greg. Happy birthday again.
Thank you very much.
Yes, yesterday. Stuart, how are you? Good.
Will, how are you? Come up a bit. Morning, William.
Hey,
Thank you.
thanks.
Pray while I'm up walking around.
We'll let you do the praying.
Thank you, sir.
I got the good coffee for myself.
How was your meeting last week with your Democratic women?
It was good.
Did you have a meeting there?
I've been 3 meetings since then.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Forgot the first one,
Meeting
huh?
last night, yeah.
Cut your hair, didn't you, Michelle?
Yesterday. It's a little short, but no problem.
Don't talk about short around me.
Well, in light of, looks like my clock, it's 9:30 on my phone. In light of Judge Pace not being available to chair this meeting, and I know he advised everybody that, I think yesterday, I'll nominate Magistrate Constantopoulos to chair the fiscal court meeting for this morning.
I'll second that.
I guess all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Daniel, you got the chair.
Magistrate Graham, would you care to lead the invocation?
Sure. Our Holy Father God, we just thank you so much for all you bless us with, and thank you for all that are serving this county government and for all those that work here. Pray for your continual protection upon them. Pray that your wisdom will be upon us today as we discuss matters for the county, and also pray you be with Judge Pace and his family and all those in our community suffering from this virus. And just pray for this to end soon. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Now for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll.
Commissioners Thompson,
Here.
Graham,
Present.
Elkins,
Present.
Davis.
Present.
Blanton,
Here.
Constantopoulos.
Present. Okay, next up on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Magistrate Davis, a second by Magistrate Elkins. Any discussion?
I want to take off 12 and 16 from the consent agenda and move it to the regular agenda.
Remove 12. And 16. All right, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. And just for the record, just go ahead and read off what was approved on the consent agenda. Was the approval of the minutes from the September 23rd, 2021 fiscal court meeting, review of the treasurer's report, the approval to accept a bid from East Fork Contracting LLC for a new fencing and gates at the Clark County Animal Shelter at the cost of $35,312. Approval of a bid from Hinkle Environmental LLC Services for 4 Mile Road slide repair at a cost of $158,932. Approval of an Amtex Equipment Company for a Mower Max boom mower at the cost of $248,058.75 for the road department. And an agreement for a litter abatement grant program. So next up on the agenda, we have public comments and,
Well, actually, 16 was removed.
oh, excuse me, 16 was removed. I apologize. I did not circle that. Alan Curtis with the road department.
Good morning. As you may remember, for our compost program, we were awarded a $10,000 grant through the Red Committee, through the Extension Office, Department of Agriculture. I'm here today. We had followed the small purchase procedures. We have a price of about $13,000 to construct the shed that's going to house the equipment. And they have a contract that you have to sign, and I need the fiscal court to give the judge authorization to sign that so we can get going on this. And I've reached out to the Department of Ag on their reimbursement procedures for that $10,000, which the county has a $10,000 match. And just as a refresher, that grant was for the building and pine trees to limit some visibility around our compost site. The nearest competitor was about $25,000 for the same structure. So Mancy locally here was around $13,000 for that structure. So I'm asking the fiscal court to consider giving the judge authorization to sign that form. Let me get it to them so we can get this thing rolling, because those funds do have a timetable and they need to be expended. I think it was by June 30th of next year, and it's going to take, a couple months to get it all done. Thank you.
Alan, that was for a shed and what?
Shed and pine trees.
Oh, I thought you
All right, anything from the body on that?
I'll make that motion, approve the signing of the contract.
Second.
Got a motion by Magistrate Davis and a second by Magistrate Thompson. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Ah,
All those opposed, motion carries. Next up on the agenda, we have Stuart Taylor with Payroll Solutions for,
Note in the minutes.
you forgot the,
oh, excuse me, note in the minutes, the pay increases authorized by the Clark County Fiscal Court Employee Policy and Procedure Manual Compensation Plan 7A and B, beginning with the first payroll in October. Now we'll get with Stuart with Payroll Solutions.
I won't get one.
Thank you. I don't know who, how many you have, so make sure.
Of those only brought, printed off 12, I like half of the office there.
Make sure the voters get them.
Hello, everyone. I'm Stuart Taylor, for thinking everybody up here. I'm from Winchester, Clark County. I'll back up a little bit. You all been with our company since 2002. I've been with Payroll Solutions since 2004. I don't know how much you all know about us, but we are headquartered in Lexington. We are the largest payroll company that's headquartered in Kentucky. We have clients in Hawaii and Florida. We work with more county governments in this state than anybody else that's a payroll company in Kentucky for sure. I know that because I go to the CAECO conferences every year. I set up close to 11 county government payrolls during that time. I've seen your all's presentations. You all, everything that they presented to you all in terms of onboarding, time attendance, everything they present to you all we can do. You'll actually have a lot of it, it's already included at no additional cost to what you have. In terms of time and attendance, employees, and I can show you, I'll show you, employees can clock in and out on their computers, and we can restrict it to the IP addresses at the site. Employees can clock in and out on their phones. They can GPS where they are when they clock in and out. They can do their vacation, sick time request off online. They can put their scheduling in. We have clocks. You already purchased clocks, but you also have additional, we have other clocks where you can do facial scanning and do their temperature reading. So that is all available for you all already. Actually, again, your all's presentations for I saw, I had copies of them. The Paylocity presentation was $17,172, and Paycom was $17,202. That's what their annual fees were. I looked at what we would charge you. What we charge you all is $8,500 a year, and everything that they offer you all, we already have included in what you already pay. So it's just a matter of getting you all trained on the system. Some features you all don't have. We just have to turn those on and roll those out when you are ready. So, I mean, we work with, also looked at this, we have 91 businesses here in Winchester that we work with. And I've set up almost 2,400 companies in the last 17 years. And I set up, like I said, a lot of county governments. I got some companies that have a couple thousand employees that use our system, obviously. But we can do everything that you all are doing. It's just a matter of getting you all trained. The issue is we just have people change positions, people will do jobs, and we have to get people trained. So, do I need to stop at any point? Let me know and back up to where you have questions on the front end. But I've lost the connection here. Starts up. From a computer standpoint, now they can clock in and out on a computer, which is what the web clock is. Or they can go to employee portal. They can clock in here. They can view their schedule. They can do their time off request. I don't know if you all are doing their time. Are you all doing your time off request right now? Okay. So it tracks the accruals. All this syncs back and forth with the payroll system. You put an employee in pay entry. It syncs 15 minutes later, and that employee information is over to swipe clock. We have a time attendance system built inside of our payroll system. It's been out for several years, but this system is used by Fortune 500 companies across the country. Walmart's used it, so it integrates and it's a lot more flexible and there's a lot more bells and whistles to it. So that's why we use it. We have about 350 clients that are on our time and attendance system. We've used it for 15 years. The other employees can use their phones. Actually, it keeps them clocked in and out. This is kind of what it looks like on their phones. They can view their time card. They can view their schedule. Managers out in the field can download the app. They can see who's clocked in, when they clocked in. They can do all that from their phone too. So that's kind of nice for people that are not at the site, want to see who's basically at a certain place in case something's happening, to know who's staffed at that time. So. Payroll standpoint, the hire and onboarding, it's all part of this as well. It brings you straight to it. You can post jobs. You all can onboard the employees where they can fill out their W-4, their I-9, their K-4. All that's available for you all. They can fill that all online. The employees can be pre-screened. That gets imported straight into payroll. There's tax credits, there's background checks, employee information. There is, I'll go into the, and I know they use some of this, and some of this again is, we just gotta get trained on some of these fields, but basic information, employee profile, their department positions, we can do as many different department positions, locations, it's unlimited. We can make it a supervisor, divisions, we can go across that. I don't know how much it's education, they can track their continuing education, they can track their skills, emergency contact, employee self-service. Again, employees can get their pay stubs online, their pay history online, copy their W-2 online, see company announcements. Events, you can do, I don't know, sexual harassment training, some sort of trainings you all do. You all can track your events that you all have done. You can do the reviews online as well, and you can put in here and you can put notes on it. I can show you a report later where you can do their employees' reviews and see why they got the review. Yep, maybe the change in pay, but your historical data is always there. Your all's historical data is always there back to 2002. So you all can see that, who's got pay raises over the last 20 years. It's all there. Deductions. Employees, again, on the online system, the W-4 and the K-4 and all that imports, you can allow for the employee can change their address, and if you do, you get notified, because in Kentucky, you may not be aware, Kentucky is the third hardest state for payroll taxes nationwide because there are locals. There's like 262 locals, and we pay people in every county in Kentucky. I mean, I've been to Hickman and Fulton, who are county governments we do in the far end of the state. I've been to Martin. I've been all over the state, sub-county governments, but we pay employees in every county in Kentucky. But what's important about it is we're liable for that, but the employees can get onboarded and with their W-4, their K-4, their I-9. The deductions are all date sensitive, meaning if you set somebody up, you can say effective January the 15th, this deduction needs to kick in, and it'll automatically kick in. Direct deposits, which are up there, that is, employees can get direct deposits. It's unlimited. They can get as many as they like to. Doesn't change our fee. Dependents come into play if we're doing the ACA reporting, which we do for about 300 clients. We do the ACA, the 1094s and 1095s. Dependents, we covered that. Fringe benefits, all this information we load. Use company car, group term life. Labor allocations is if we're going to split everybody on a fixed percent into certain job tasks. We have some people that do 25% of their labor cost goes here and 75% goes somewhere else. And that shows up in your reports. Pay rates is all date sensitive, so you all can go back and view the pay rate changes. You can go ahead and put in March 1st of 2022, the pay rate changes, kicks in. But yeah, that's benefits is ACA stuff, and then history is if you want to go look at it, see that. But from a reporting standpoint, there's about 120 reports that are just canned reports. Here's a code listing report. That just shows who's got what deductions. It's good for reconciliation purposes, who has health insurance, who's contributing to the health insurance, the 401k, who has garnishments, which we take care of, and the child supports. health insurance. There are several companies on here to run. It's just a matter of, and a lot of these can go out to Excel. So, let's see what. The other thing I would note on their proposals, is, you know, even in their $17,000 proposals, and maybe they did, but there's no listing of the purchases of clocks, which they usually almost always charge you all for clocks, physical clocks, which is additional cost. You all already bought the clocks from us, which are lifetime warranted. So, I don't know if you all bought 6 or 8, or I can't remember how many y'all got. But they all have just the mobile information in their proposals. So clocks is additional cost on top of that. And again, their fees are double ours, and everything that you all need, I think you all need or want, that they've covered, we can do as well. So, do you all have questions?
Any questions from the magistrates? One question I have, and I asked this last time, with the fire department, their payroll's a little bit different and
Right.
so forth, and with the time clocks and everything, can that all be facilitated? Do you have other fire
Yeah, we have
departments where they do all that?
Jessamine County Fire Department. We do, like I said, Woodford, Hickman, Owen, several of the other county governments use us for time attendance. I know Harrison County, it's actually a private entity over there, does it for fire departments, the ambulance services, and they have the same 48 hours on, off. It's scripting, and we can do that, yeah. So, you know, like I said, we have 2,600 clients. Somebody else uses the same system. There's 68,000 people that use the same system. So this stuff's all there. Just a matter of, you know, we got to get what you all, if something's missing, we need to, get you trained. We trained, so Brent, he's one of our processors. He's from Winchester, went to Transy. He graduated a couple years behind me, but he's came over and trained the previous people probably 8 years ago. I don't know who it was, but you know, a lot of our trainings now is webinar because there's, I'll load about 175 new clients a year, and then I'm one of 4 sales reps. So we're constantly doing trainings almost every week for different new companies. So I'm actually loaded already 179 new companies this year. I'll hit my record. I'll be over 200 new businesses this year. So.
Any other questions?
Do you have one, Travis?
No, sir, I'm good. I was just gonna mention if Alicia and Janet had any questions, but I think you've met with Stuart, so I think,
I wonder, and I know I hear training, but if you've been with us since 2002, how do we get so far behind on training that,
Well, and
we're
it
in
happens
the
a lot
position
with
we're in.
bigger, larger entities. Somebody comes in, takes over, previous person trains them, they had a certain way of doing it, and then they kind of go with what they got, and they don't ask and say, you know, there's people out there don't know we can do direct deposit. They just never done it before. They're smaller, people in small towns. They're like, well, we didn't know you all can do direct deposit, and they're like, okay, well, we would like to do that. So it's just, people don't know because it's there, and sometimes they don't want it turned on. The onboarding piece, you know, you got to think, there are people in Kentucky that probably only, I'd say 35% of our clients don't do direct deposit because they're old, they just don't want to do direct deposit. So onboarding is a big step for those people. Direct deposits is even a step for those people. So it's a matter of somebody comes in, doesn't know we have it available, and they need to be trained on it and get it turned on. So like, it may not be turned on for you all.
all right, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Stuart.
Thanks, Stuart. Appreciate
thanks,
it.
Stuart.
Next up, we've got a updating regarding the flooding here in Clark County from Fire Chief Asbury.
That's definitely not Is this anyone else's? Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm just wanted to give you all a brief update and also answer any questions that you may have. As you all know, we received flooding on Thursday, October the 7th. It was substantial damage to downtown areas, just as much in town. There's a good picture right there. I think that's actually taken from our Facebook page. Thank you, Ms. Janet. Not seen before inside the city of Winchester from everyone that I've spoke to in the first responder realm. So it kind of caught us off guard a little bit that we're not used to seeing things of that nature. So what I'd like to do is actually explain the process, because there are two different processes to when it comes to FEMA getting reimbursement or aid from the federal government. So one is called individual assistance and the other is public assistance. And the terminology sometimes gets confusing. I've received a couple questions about it over the week. So public assistance is actually not for the general public. It's for critical infrastructure, or roads and bridges, fire stations, which actually got flooded as well. So that's and when you hear the term that you're going to have to meet a threshold, that is the big term a lot of people like to use. And threshold only pertains to the public assistance. So to get public assistance, the threshold for our county is a certain percentage, and I believe it's $3.47 per person in Clark County. And I think we're somewhere, the recent census came out, we're at about 36,000 people. So you would take 36,000 people times that $3.47 to meet a threshold. More than likely, we met that threshold for public, I misspoke. We did not meet that threshold. Even if we did meet that threshold, the next would have to be the state. In turn, the state has to meet $6.7 million in damages across the state for that event. Unfortunately, with the exception of Greenup County and one assessment done in Estill County, that was the extent of damage happened in Winchester, Clark County alone. So the state's not going to meet the $6.7 million damage that was needed to apply for federal assistance. So on the PA side of it, we're not going to get any assistance. That's the skinny of it. So the individual assistance, which pertains to our businesses and our individual residents in our county and city, there is no threshold. So that's where the confusion sometimes takes place. There absolutely is no threshold. We're going to do damage assessments, which we have begun. Currently, we have done 20 businesses, 90 individual assessments, and 9 PAs, and we have 3 that are outstanding, so we haven't got to them. We just received them yesterday, and I'll do those 3 after this meeting, for a total of 122 assessments in our county and city. So our individual assessments, there is no threshold to meet. What we're going to do is we compile that information, give it an estimate, and we send those to the state. The state, in turn, they gather all that information, they'll write a report and send it to the federal government. More than likely, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but Nicholas County and the city of Carlisle just recently went through the same thing. I've talked to the county judge executive and the emergency managers there. I just know that they didn't get any assistance. So we're more than likely looking at the same event because it was not widespread enough in order to garner national attention. It's just the way it goes. That doesn't mean we're not going to apply for it, because the fire departments have been out there, and I think they've been working their tails off, and we've got them almost completed. We'll probably have 3 more today. There may be some people that's called in to the EOC. Miss Perry's actually been taking those calls. I had a volunteer come in and take most of those calls, and I'm very appreciative of it. We're going to get it finished and turned in by the end of the week. So if anyone's watching, if you have damage and you'd like us to come out and do an assessment, please contact the fire department. 901-1555 is the number we've been putting out there for them to contact. You can call me at the fire department. We'll come and get it done. Just because you didn't see us there doesn't mean it didn't get done. You don't have to be home for us to do those assessments. So if you receive calls from people in your district or area, and they say, well, the fire department never came out and done an assessment while I was here. That doesn't mean it didn't get accomplished, and it's not necessary for those people to be home. So we are doing them and we'll continue to do them. We're gonna try to get them wrapped up by Friday. That way we can expedite it and get Kentucky Emergency Management and the governor to write their report and send it up to the federal government. I know I was trying to be brief. It was a lot of information. Does anybody have any questions for me currently right now?
Chief, I just want to thank you for your hard work, and I know I've talked to you on the phone. My district was hit particularly hard, and
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate all you've done. And also, Alan Curtis, I think he's finishing up the last complaint that we had, not really complaint, but need that we had in our district this morning, and he's very responsive. They were even out on Saturday morning so we could get a farmer to his cattle, and I just appreciate you both.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. We've, remember, I'm not making excuses for the fire department. I thought that we have got, we're down to 3 left. So both the city and the county, we've worked together. Sometimes the cities went out in the county and done the damage assessment, same with us. It's not that either department didn't care, we're all Clark County. So we're gonna go out and do them wherever they are. It doesn't matter if it's in the city or the county, because that's why you may receive calls that the county fire department's been in town and the city's been out in the county. We're just working together. We're doing what we can to help our citizens. You may get other questions, please direct them to me and I'll answer them, because I've also had a few, well, what if the gravel from the neighbor comes across into my property? Shouldn't the county come out and clean those up? No, that's not the way that works. So I'll explain that to them and I'll do my best. I'm just one person trying to get to over 122 residents in our county. So I'll answer any questions. Thank you all. Remember, I'm available anytime if you have questions from the community that you can't answer. I'd be more than glad to help. Thank you all.
Chief.
Chief, one question, just
Yes,
one quick question. Funding wise, are we okay? I know, we had to do some funding for when we had the issue down at Amster Grove. I know it's a little bit different, but just, are we good on everything?
We're good right now. We're wrapping. It seems like as soon as we get one disaster wrapped up, we're right into another one. And we've just completed the ice storm, and we're right in the middle of Alan and I are on a conference call today at 1 o'clock, so that's what you all, on the consent agenda, that was actually the flooding event that happened for the public assistance. The individual assistance is still an ongoing project for those folks. Now, I'm not exactly for sure what funding they have authorized, and I know a lot of people are gonna think, you made it happen for those down at the river, why isn't it happening for this? Remember, there was a lot more widespread damage across the state in that event. This was isolated, and unfortunately, that's where we are with it. So that funding is going to be different from this funding. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're good on that one. This one, probably not so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, next we'll do item number 12, which is the approval of the second reading of an ordinance relating to the distributions of fund of the Clark County Community Fund to the Fiscal Court of Clark County Sub-Fund. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Magistrate Davis, second by Magistrate Elkins. Any discussion?
Yeah, I got a couple things.
Go ahead.
I did speak with Lisa Atkins over at the Bluegrass Community Foundation, the president and CEO, and to see what was going on here. And there was a couple things. Actually, the reason funds hadn't been distributed this year is because the county had failed to submit the expenditures for the previous year and had not submitted the grant agreement for this year. So that was the reason for any delay in funds, and I see that grant agreement's on this agenda. And I would like to get a copy of those funds expended for that particular reporting period. And secondly, she said these dates that we have in this ordinance, January 1 and January 30th, are not the correct dates, and she told me what it related to, but I didn't make a note of that. Those dates, she said, should be March the 1st through March the 31st. And then again, that is subject to receiving those 2 other documents prior to that date. So, in my opinion, I think we need to change the dates in that ordinance and include those other 2 requirements of the report and the grant agreement. The other thing I asked her about was that I had heard had been discussed was actually the foundation writing the checks as opposed to writing one check to the county. And she indicated to me that probably 99% of the people that they administer funds for actually do that. And the reason they do that is because the foundation actually takes an additional step and confirms that those recipients are actually in compliance with all the IRS requirements, which to me seemed a good thing. And I don't know that we do that. But if we don't, we probably should if we're going to issue those individual checks. In addition to that, as I had mentioned to the judge several months ago and mentioned here at the last meeting, I mentioned that my thought about doing a grant agreement. And again, she said that was pretty much standard operating procedure. I told her I had discussed that with the court, and I thought we may be able to do that. And she offered to assist the court in preparing any grant agreement that we might want to have those recipients agree to. So that's where I'm at on this, and I know we've got funds that's due us, and I know that people are waiting for them, but I really think we need to change those dates and put those other two requirements in there. Quite frankly, I'm not an attorney, but I don't know that we could pass an ordinance to make Bluegrass Community Foundation do anything, because that's probably a private agreement, and I see the county attorney has provided us with that this morning. I have had a copy of that for a number of years, so it's not new to me, but that's just my opinion. But subject to those couple of changes, the foundation has been going on for a number of years. It provides a great number of funds to people, and I think it's a good thing. But it's whatever the court wants to do, of course. But I think we do need to consider those amendments to this ordinance.
Okay, thank you. One thing I'd like to mention, just something you said there, that after our last meeting, we had the conversation when we discussed this ordinance, I actually requested from Judge Pace a copy of the email correspondence between him and the foundation as far as what had transpired about requesting the money. And through the whole email thread that I read, there was no mention whatsoever is that we had not done our end of the bargain from the county's aspect of it. Their reasoning for not giving the money, as they alluded to, is that we will handle it, it's due to tax purposes, and so forth. So they never alluded that they did not receive anything from the county, and that was conversations going back all the way to way earlier this year. So I don't know why they would, if they needed information from us to obtain the money, why they wouldn't have requested it when the email correspondence was going back and forth from the community, or from the foundation.
In previous years, I've actually seen those reports in previous years, and it was usually done in February.
Yep, so.
The reports that I've sent 2 years in a row, and the last one I sent last year was to Haley Cunningham, and she said, you're good, this is all I need. Now, if there's another report that we're supposed to submit, I'm not privy to that. But I've sent the 2 spreadsheets that we always submit to the court, and she said, this is good, this is all we need. So if there's something else out there.
Well, it's a report in the grant agreement it's a report for the previous expenditures and the grant agreement for the current year.
Okay, then this is a report that we've not submitted for 2 years then, because all I've ever submitted was the indication of those who received the funds. And for 2 years, they said this is good.
Well, again, this is,
if there's another one out there, all you have to do is let us know, and we'll take care of it. But that's how we functioned for the 2 years prior.
Maybe we should see the last 5 years of those reports we've submitted.
Well, I can give you the 2.
I'm just wondering if the goalpost hasn't moved or the game changed or the rules changed in the middle of the game. That's what it seems to me like. It seems to me like a stall for some reason or another.
But regardless, I think if they needed additional information during that whole email correspondence, they should have said, hey, we'd be more than happy to turn over the money to you if you complete this report that we haven't received. And that was not stated in those emails. It all pertained to, we're going to handle it, we'll take care of it.
Yeah, this seems like bad business to me. To wait till after the fact to request a bunch of information is, that's just not good business.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
nay.
No.
Motion carries. Next up on the agenda, we have number 16, consider approval to execute the county request and agreement for litter abatement grant program. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Magistrate Davis, second by Magistrate Elkins. Any discussion?
I just didn't see a funding amount on here
They don't give one until after.
till after.
It's usually, in years past, it's been about 35 to 38,000.
That's what I thought, but I did, that's why,
They're changing the game a lot in solid waste this year.
yeah, okay, I just wanted to make sure it was about the same amount.
It is.
Okay,
As far as I know.
okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Next up on the agenda, number 17, consider approval of the transfers. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made by Magistrate Blanton, second by Magistrate Elkins. Any discussion?
Yeah, my copy, and maybe there's a reason for it, doesn't have the account numbers on the last cash transfer.
Because there's not account numbers, that's a transfer between the bank accounts. It's between the community trust account, to get them like to the traditional bank account.
Is that the community trust account, is that some leftover funds or what's that?
That's a
from?
little where, that's where we receive the state payments, when we, the Kentucky Finance payments.
I see.
I cannot figure out a way to get them, to go to the right account, and so they go into the community trust account, and then the quarterly, we move them from the community trust to the traditional bank accounts. Where they're supposed to be. And if you look at if you look at the bank of reconciliations on the treasurer's report, the amounts that correspond with the undeposited receipts.
At some point, can we just, at some point, close that community trust account out, consolidate that?
If I can find a way to put them to the right accounts, I will do that.
Can I offer this piece of information? And Alicia, if I'm wrong, correct me.
Oh, that's fine.
So there are certain revenue sources that are committed to appropriations in the budget that come in by electronic deposit, and they come to that community trust bank account, but then they may belong to various agencies or various departments within the budget. And so it's kind of hard to get the people that disperse the funds to us to disperse them in a way that they just automatically allocate to the road fund or to the fire department fund.
So we'd have to figure out which department it needs to go to, if it's road or jail or
As I understand it, that's the way it
general
works.
account.
Right.
It's kind of the way we try to charge back our insurance premium against the various departments, but this is in reverse form.
It'd be nice if at some point though we could.
And they want me to choose a one bank account, but we've got multiple bank
I
accounts.
see, I understand.
So it's very difficult to get them to choose just on one of them.
Well, that makes
when I've got
sense.
like multiple deposits.
So they give it for a general purpose, but we have specific needs within agencies.
Correct.
So what would happen once this, just for instance, $39,658 transfers into the road fund account? What happens to it from there?
It's already been accounted for, in the road fund, and so it's just, moving the cash to the,
Okay, yeah,
I've got the same bank account.
I follow that now.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 18, consider approval of the bills list. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Magistrate Blanton, second by Magistrate Graham. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 19, review and acceptance of the Clark County Fiscal Court Grant Agreement for 2021. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Magistrate Blanton,
Second.
Second by Magistrate Thompson. Any discussion?
I'm sorry, I was trying to follow on. What was that? What item was that?
Number 19, review acceptance of the Clark County Fiscal Court Fund Grant Agreement.
That is the agreement at issue. Do you have a moving second to accept that?
Yes, we do.
Because that would be a modification to your 1998 agreement if you were to do that. It'd be my advice that you not do that, especially not in the midst of trying to determine what the rights and responsibilities are under the 1998 agreement, where it would appear to me that this new agreement would resolve all those questions in favor of the obligated party, Bluegrass Community Foundation. So I'd suggest you exercise caution in accepting that agreement.
Well, and I would echo that by way of the fact that, we've just passed an ordinance that directs them to pay this money over to the Clark County Fiscal Court. My understanding of the statute is they're bound not only by state statute, but by county ordinance. So they've been directed to pay this money. The previous court signed this agreement almost 23 years ago. I'm not sure why you should have to sign a grant agreement every single year, and that, as the county attorney noted, is very much in favor of the Bluegrass Foundation. And I think sort of this thing has kind of been backwards for a long time, in that it's almost treated like, we work for the foundation rather than them working for us. That it's ultimately, at the end of the day, it's Clark County's money. And this, for whatever reason, in '98 was paid over to the foundation. I guess they were thought to have the investing and management skill set to be able to manage it, but it's almost treated like this is a favor to the county, when they're getting at least 1% management fee, which is generally pretty standard on amounts of money that involved. I've also been troubled by the fact that I don't know that we've received regular, or certainly not quarterly, updates or summaries as to the investment performance of the money, any additional fees that may or may not have been levied. Essentially an accounting just like you'd get from any investment company in the country, whether it's Fidelity or Vanguard or Schwab or Edward Jones or whatever the case. So I'm certainly not in favor of putting the county even more behind the 8 ball with the Bluegrass Community Foundation.
Get you to think about this while you consider your vote. If the contract is an agreement that A will do something, be obligated to B in exchange for something. If you enter into this agreement for these new obligations, in exchange for what? You get a 5% distribution under the 1998 agreement. Are they going to give you 6%? Or are you just given an additional obligation in exchange for nothing? Because if that's the case, it doesn't seem like that's a sound basis for a contract, legally speaking.
One thing, sorry.
Go ahead.
One thing I noticed, and I was looking at this agreement late last night, there was some of the verbiage that was laid in this agreement was basically is that, we guarantee that we will return all unexpended funds or any portion of the grant that's not used. That's how we ended up building an allotted amount in our fund, was by not expending those, and we never had to turn those back over to the Bluegrass Community Fund. And then there was another line item in here that said basically that Bluegrass Community Foundation reserves the right to discontinue, modify, or withhold any payments under this grant award, or require a total or partial refund of grant funds. That's something that I had never seen before, so I went back and actually pulled the one that we approved back in 2020, and it was just a simple agreement. Not all those stipulations were put in there. So I'm wondering why all of a sudden this has changed in 2021, and I went back and looked in 2019 and 2018, and it was just a simple order that we approved basically saying these are the organizations that we're going to contribute to as a body, and award grants to, I should say, and that's the way we did it. So I don't know what changed in 2020 for this to come, and then now in 2021. I mean, ultimately, this is the fiscal court's money that we entrusted to them to invest, and I don't like somebody trying to dictate that they're going to control it on how they're going to distribute that, and then they have the override say of it. I mean, the people of this community elected us to make those decisions, and we should maintain that control.
Well, the funds are supposed to be used for charitable and educational purposes. We all know that. And that's where I'll leave it.
It would seem to me there are a lot of questions and a lot of unknowns, and I don't know if it's possible or not. Maybe somebody from the foundation needs to come and address the court so we can ask questions and
That's a
get
good idea,
answers.
Travis.
So, because it's about clear as mud to me.
Yeah, because considering, and I have no problem with that at all, especially in light of the fact that probably over the last 22 years, if my math is right, if they've collected their 1%, that you're talking about over $500,000 in the last $550,000 in the last 22 years they've collected as a management fee. For an amount that really, my understanding, has not really grown much. It's still at about $2.5 million. I'm very troubled by the fact that, yeah, we get this 5% a year, but I think even taking that 5% distribution, I would have expected over the last 22 years there have been some more growth than that, considering how the market's done. But they may have a different explanation and narrative than that. But I can't be in favor of passing this agreement as is. There's no benefit to the county.
Well, I'd move that we table this until we get someone from the foundation here to answer these questions and try to resolve some of these issues.
Okay, there's a motion made by Magistrate Blanton to table it. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Magistrate Thompson. Any discussion on the table?
Yeah, I think we should vote this down, period. This is a change of the rules in the middle of the game. It's what I said earlier. I was thinking forward to this item on the agenda when I said it. I don't like, we can table it if you like. I'm not gonna be in favor of tabling it. I am in favor of, moving this thing out. This is not something I want to consider again.
I am in favor of having them come and speak to us. That's probably long overdue, maybe years overdue. But I'm regardless. I've read through the agreement a couple of times that they've tendered. There's no way I can be in favor of the county. I can't imagine any explanation they may give that would be convincing enough to say this is to the benefit of Clark County to sign this grant agreement in light of the ordinance we just passed, in light of the agreement we have from '98, in light of I think the perceived underperformance of these funds. So I'm not for tabling, and if they want to tender another agreement and we discuss it, I'm open to looking at that and dialoguing with them. But this agreement I can't go along with. So
I don't disagree. This item on the agenda tells me they're not satisfied with the 1998 agreement for whatever reason. They probably should come here and tell us what that reason is, why they're not satisfied with the 1998 agreement, why they want to modify it. I agree they need to come here and we need to see them, but I'm not for tabling and I'm not for passing this agreement.
And if I can just add, we have nonprofits out there waiting for the funds.
I know we do.
Sure.
I know we do.
It'll take a while. We can resolve it for this year, and then you can wait out next year, but we've got nonprofits who are already calling, saying that
I know.
I agree.
I serve on that committee, and that's why it angers me that we're getting the rules changed in the middle of the game. It probably shows that I'm not happy with this play that the Bluegrass Community Foundation has made. I think it's a bad move on their part, and stall tactics are not understood by me.
Well, again, I go back, if you look at some of the distributions, section number 2 says charitable and education. I just challenge you to go back and look at some of the distributions of those funds and tell me what was charitable or educational.
Well, and let me say this to that point. We had this discussion several months ago, and it's directly involved with the body cameras to the sheriff's office. And as I said then, and they have cleverly left out the fact that the IRS designates governmental donations or donations made to governmental bodies as being charitable in nature. They have very adeptly left that off from this by saying, well, just charitable and educational. That's not how IRS limits the definition of charity or charitable. And I think some of this stems, in my personal opinion, I think some of this stems for they didn't like the fact that we did designate $25,000 to the body cameras for the SO, although that clearly went to public safety. It clearly went to benefit to the community. We had that discussion months ago. I suspect, I don't know, but I suspect the foundation didn't like that. I understand that. It's still within our discretion. I think it still falls within the IRS definition of charity if they want to fall to the IRS definition. And I'm not sure what else we've contributed money to or designated money that wouldn't be considered charitable. I think the ultrasound to New Beginnings that we funded was charitable. They're a charitable, as far as I know, 501c3. They're in accordance with the law and as a nonprofit under IRS rules. So I'm not sure what else we would have designated money for that wouldn't have been charitable under that IRS defining regulation. So, you know, if there is, they haven't clarified it to this court. So again, if they want to come and have a dialogue with us and they can get into that, and maybe we'll get to the root of all this. But otherwise, I can't go along with this agreement.
Judge, if I may, I'd like to add to that as well. The optics of the holding these funds and making these organizations that are waiting on these funds continue to wait because this foundation doesn't agree with some of the decisions we've made. That's really that sheds a bad light on this foundation as well. If that's what you're saying is they're holding these funds because they don't agree with the decisions we've made, I think we need to probably start looking at further steps. That's my thought, and I assure you I'm going to start doing that.
And one final comment that I have on that, and that's when I read that new addition that they added, basically saying that they will have the right to discontinue, modify, or withhold payments under this grant, is basically, that indicates to me they didn't like the way or what we used that money for. And so that's why they tried to add that into this new agreement. So if there's not any, is there any other discussion on the motion to table? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you do a roll call, please?
This is a motion to table.
Table.
Measure Graham,
I'll oppose it.
Thompson,
Yes.
Elkins,
No.
Davis.
No.
Blanton,
Yes.
and Constantopoulos.
No. Motion to table fails. So we still currently have a motion on the floor for the approval of this contract with the Community Fund Foundation. Is there any other discussion on that motion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you do a roll call, please?
Measure Thompson,
No.
Measure Elkins,
No.
Measure Davis,
No.
Measure Blanton,
No.
Measure Constantopoulos.
No. And that motion
Measure
carried.
Graham.
Oh, no. All right, and that motion carries unanimously.
Failed.
Or failed.
Or fails, excuse me. Apologize. Okay, next up on the agenda, number 20, consider approval of a order to hire heavy equipment operator in the Clark County Road Department. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Magistrate Davis,
Second.
second by Magistrate Elkins. Any discussion?
I'll vote no because the hire date was prior to today.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
Nay. All right. Motion carries. Number 21, consider of approval to complete and submit the National Opioid Settlement documents. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Magistrate Davis,
Second.
second by Magistrate Elkins. Any discussion?
I assume the county attorney's in agreement with this, or?
I asked that it be put on the agenda this time because essentially, we're into a step of continuing in this class action suit through the Kentucky Attorney General's office. So we've been, by approval, acting on just a class member basis with the law firms that are bringing suit against pharmaceutical companies. But now there's some agreed distribution to be managed by the AG's office. You have to re-up your request for funding there. And so those are the documents we're seeking to approve. Really doesn't change anything in terms of our posture or belief in the claim. It just leaves us in line to receive funding. So yes,
They don't know what that's going to be at this point.
they have a formula with some factors that are being proposed, but they've not been finally voted on. So it's going to be more than you would get if you don't apply.
From what I gather from the news, which I guess anybody could see, looks like they were making some headway with half a dozen or so of those big pharma companies.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 22, consider approval of an order to sell, deliver, and spread animal composting byproduct. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Magistrate Elkins,
Second.
second by Magistrate Davis. Any discussion?
I have a couple questions for Alan. I think we covered them last meeting, but there's gonna be a release for anybody's property that we're going on?
Yes, I'm making away from.
No cash?
Yeah, no cash.
Okay. And then a question for Alicia, is there gonna be a way to track this?
I should be able to create a line item for it.
That's
Yeah.
kinda what I was getting at,
Yes.
as opposed to just putting it into the big one.
Oh,
All right.
yes.
That's all I got. I'm good with it.
And also, I think that if I'm not mistaken, that liability-wise, I think Keiko, we're okay.
Yeah,
They've cleared everything and.
Contact them. Other counties do similar things with dirt, tree limbs and things of that nature.
Okay.
We're fine.
Any other discussion?
It seemed like it's a good idea. We'll have some revenue instead of expenses. Just, I hate to compete with private business, but in this case, it's probably the best thing for the county to do.
One more question, Alan. Will they be able to come and pick it up if they wanna spread it themselves?
Yeah.
Different price or same price?
Well, I haven't seen the order, but it's probably gonna be a yardage price.
It just says $50 per ton or $20 per cubic yard delivered and spread.
Yeah.
So
That's up to the fiscal court. I mean, if you guys wanna.
it might be something we should consider doing it cheaper
Once
if they
you
just wanna
see
show
what
up.
response you get, and if we adjust,
I mean,
yeah,
you know, we're gonna probably be.
kind of a moving target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just see how palatable it is.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 23, there's no closed session items on the agenda. Number 24, presentation of the new county website. Is that going to be you, Eric?
Mr. Baseball?
Yeah. Famous, can we get your autograph?
So this is what the homepage is. So this is the overview of what we've been working on with Civic Plus. So this is what they gave us, and obviously Jan and I were trained as system administrators, and I'm going to be the prime system administrator. That's the plan. With Janet as just backup for me to bounce things off of. As you can tell, these are what are called mega menus. We're getting into some technical terms, but we have community. So you see City of Winchester, Clark County Schools, community fund application, the history of the county, all newsletters, parks, state of Kentucky. A lot of these will link to others. So like the City of Winchester links to their website. It'll take them directly there. If they need something, they can go through the city's website. Departments are broken down. animal shelter, coroner, county attorney, county clerk, detention center, finance. As you can see, sorry, I have notes to make sure I'm hitting them all. Government is agendas and minutes for the fiscal court, county ordinances that are passed. Your districts are down here. There's a home page, and then each of you all will has your own district page. County officials, transparency. That's just any documents they can look up through that. How do I section? So employment opportunities. How do I contact different county staff, fire department, fiscal court? Find the county transit, county ordinances. It's a lot more ways, multiple places that they can find the information that they would need. Then programs and activities. So let's go to the departments. So here's the animal shelter. They have the most information right now. Theirs was able to migrate most from the old website. So adoption fees, what for dogs, for cats, requirements for surrendering animals, hours, all contact information, address where they are, obviously Addie's name as director. You can email, so if anyone can just hit that. It's a hyperlink. It'll take them to whatever email app they use on their computers. It'll post her email right in there, and they can send an email that way. And then something that I've worked on is that, and you'll see on all your pages, I've linked their Facebook here. So this is a Facebook feed. So anything they post will show up right here instantly. And then this allows people to go from this to like their page directly and learn more. So all the posts are right there. Let's see, and let's go to the road department because they posted something this morning. So a lot of these need more information on them. And mind you, I just want to remind everyone, this is not published yet, so we are still working on this for a launch date next week, right? Is that still sticking to it?
Yeah, and what we want you to know is when we launch it, it won't be a perfect website. We will still continue to build, but it will be open to the public. Right now, they have no website that's open to them. So 18th is when they start Civic Plus, transfer, DNS, all this kind of technical term. But we still want to continue to build on it, so it will be
Work in progress.
Yes.
Janet, can I ask you a question? Is the URL address the same as your old address?
It should be, yes, it will be. Right now, it's got Civic Plus in it, and that will be removed.
Well, I don't know why the road isn't showing up there. It was showing up there earlier. But their Facebook feed will be right there. The same place for everybody. It'll be very standard across everyone's. So we go to finance. This is where they can get quarterly returns, all the occupational tax license stuff, anything that someone would need. We want to make sure that everyone here is driving, when this launches on the 18th, we're driving folks to the website. We have analytics. We'll track what pages are getting the most hits, what aren't getting the most hits, and we can adjust from there. But we want to make sure that the money that the court has spent on this is used well, and people are getting the most out of the website.
Is there a link to watch the court meetings from this?
Yes.
Yes. And we'll go to government. And so you guys are going to kick out of some of the pictures I put on your web pages. I know there's discussions for the background pictures that it's the same too. I am working on that with Civic Plus. The goal is for each department, they'll have a different picture that'll come up. So if you click the fire department, it'll either be a picture of one of their fire trucks or the station. Just as much personalize it to each individual department as possible, and not just the standard picture of the courthouse every page that we see. That should be on there. You might have an old version on here. This is the magistrate, so they can go Clark County, pull the PDF. So they'll figure out where they live in the county. As you've all probably seen this. Each district is labeled by a color. Then they'll go to, we'll take Daniels.
You know that is subject to change though.
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay, we're getting ready to redistrict
yes.
right now.
So once the new map is out, we will adjust accordingly.
Okay.
So this is Daniels. I put a picture of Daniel on there. So I pulled all these from your all's Facebook, so just FYI. And then there's Daniels his magistrate page, the one that he has that you can like. For your all's pages, I wanted your input on this. I was thinking bios, if you wanted that, or any information your constituents, you think your constituents should be able to access from your district page. Whatever you think is important. So if you have more farmers in your district, stuff related to that. Whatever you want, just let me know. We can put it on there, the information will get on there. But I didn't want to, this is again a work in progress, so I just wanted to show everybody what it could look like.
I'd say email addresses and phone numbers, unless somebody doesn't want their phone number up, but I mean,
Which everyone's email
I
address
see the email there.
is the same. It's very standard for everybody. It'll say email X person is what it is. So second district, Travis. Third is Joe, but he doesn't have a Facebook page. So
come on, Joe. Put his TikTok on.
Yeah. This is Greg. This is Greg. So I'll get into this, but I'll just go run through them real fast. Chris, so you can see your Facebook feed. And then a very old picture of Magistrate Bland.
I sent you another one.
Yeah, I know.
1980?
78.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is, Magistrate Bland. I know you have a Magistrate Facebook page. I tried to link it, and there's something, either a setting in your page that is not allowing it.
Okay.
So I'll try to contact Facebook probably and see what the problem may be. So that's why some of them were included and not. The plugin wouldn't work. I don't know why. Let's see. So those are your Magistrate pages. And then a really nice feature that we'll have is what Civic Plus refers to as Newsflash. So this is where anyone can sign up for notifications. This is where we'll put out press releases, any news pertaining to the county. So they can go to this page, and then right over here it says Notify Me. They'll click on that. Sorry. So these are all the things they can sign up. They enter an email address right here or a phone number. You can do both, email or phone number, whichever you'd like. And so these are the agendas. They can sign up for county building closures, road closures, any emergency notifications we have, bid postings. So all the bid process can go through the website now. People will be able to come on, see the bids on the website, and they can actually bid through the website through a form. And then once we award a bid, I can notify them all electronically who wins the bid. Calendar, government jobs, news flashes, these are all alerts that citizens in Clark County can sign up for, or anybody can sign up for, just to keep informed about what is going on.
Eric, is there a way to make that more apparent, sign up for news alerts? Is just that little notify me over there? I mean, is there a way to make that
I can
more-
ask Civic Plus that. Let's see, we have here. It's in the how do I sign up for notifications.
I gotcha.
So that's the best. Then it links right to here.
Right to okay.
Yeah, that was what their suggestion was. The best method is to use these menus as possible because they're the ones that people are going to click on first. So they'll scroll through and they'll see them and they'll go, oh, I want notifications. Oh, okay, sign up for notifications. Just like that. Let's see.
And, as we move forward, like complaints, well, they can do that online, and then we can send it to the road department, and whatever the case may be, or whatever, if we need to get in contact with you all. We want you all to be able to use this to help you do what you do, to make it more efficient for the community, but, and then the projects that are coming, the broadband, the redistricting. We need people, you need to drive people to the website, so that's where they're gonna gather the concise information, so they can hear it from one source. So this is a tool, we want you all to use it. It's to help you, help your constituents.
I have another question.
Good.
Speaking like you pull up a website or a link to the county attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Some of our department heads, like the county clerk's office or the jailers, can they actually have their website through here, or do they need to have a hyperlink to their own website? Can they have the option of using this platform or no?
They can. I mean, I can, if,
Would you want that, Michelle, like a link to your website?
You can,
on
because
there?
see, that one details.
well, it already links to it.
Oh, it does,
Okay,
okay.
okay.
Yeah, we prefer that it just links.
Okay.
Because then you'd have to drive it if he creates, if we create it.
I got you,
Yeah.
I got you. Look at that picture there, huh?
Yeah. That was not from 78.
I should bring up, I don't know why, I'll make sure it gets linked, for example.
I saw detention center, it linked to theirs.
Yeah, I know yours.
Well, I'm not sure. They
Please.
asked me about the county attorney. So did we, that there was they had some issues with the previous link. So I don't know.
I'll
We're
make sure,
thinking,
I'll
where
I'll
it
make
pulls,
sure it does.
where it pulls up maybe their information and then click to go to their website or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah, that's fine. I bring up the county attorney's bio page because we were talking, we would like to standardize headshots for everybody. The same headshot for every magistrate if possible. And since the county attorney's the only one with the nice state-issued headshot, I put it on here. I don't know if that's something, I mean, I just think it would look better to standardize wherever we want to take it, to bring someone in professionally and just do headshots for everybody.
Can we do the group photo then too?
I think so.
That's fine,
We can
yeah.
get a photographer. I think Michelle was
If we're gonna have a
gonna
photographer.
I think a group photo would be ideal.
I do too.
And then the individual ones.
Just to standardize, so I'm not pulling old pictures from Facebook and stuff like that. It would better serve everybody if everyone just had a nice headshot.
I agree.
Looks great.
Are you on board, buddy? I'm not hearing anything over here.
That's all I had in my notes, so I'm open for any questions, suggestions from the fiscal court, whatever
What's your timeline?
the 18th is the launch date.
The 18th.
So it's next Monday?
Next Monday, it'll be open again.
It'll still be a working progress,
We
I
are
understand.
working on it hard, and the more we get feedback from the community, the more it will help us. But we need people, because what they've gotten used to is the previous website, which was pretty non-functional, whatever, for whatever reason. So they're not inclined to go to the website. So we want to, you ought to help, go to the website, check it out, let's promote it, then they'll tell us what's wrong with it.
So you launch the 18th, when do you think we're done with it? I know you're never completely done, but
Never.
but when do you think it'll be where you're,
I'm hoping beginning of January, we'll have this side up. Now, after that, he and I are gonna work on the intranet aspect, so we can use it internally to make us more efficient.
yeah.
But January 1 would be the target, because we've got the broadband coming, and we've got the districting, so we need to have it up and going by the 1st. Is that doable, Aaron? I'm talking to Aaron, I don't know what you're talking about.
It should, yes, I mean, that's full 2 months of feedback from the community, feedback from you all, whatever. And then that'll give us a good sample for the analytics that are coming in, for what is being clicked on, what's not being clicked on. And then we can adjust from there. And if we have to change some of the menus, and we have full control over that.
Let me offer this one thought, and you probably have heard this come up before, but just in case that KY.ClarkCounty.com turns out to be a new domain, new URL address, I think the people who are working on this for you will be able to help you work with your old address to make sure that it points to this one, so that you don't create a lot of broken links out there that have been in place for 20 years, and suddenly the city's link won't work anymore, and everybody else will everybody get the 404 page message.
Yeah.
If you don't have it point or use the same one. I saw that right off, and I thought, well, that's probably not it, but just a word of caution.
And that's a great point. I'll bring that up to Civic Plus to make sure that if they type in the URL, it doesn't somehow take them to the old website. It should be pulled down. That's my understanding, is that they pulled it
Well, they're
down.
doing a transfer. They're working with PG Ag because they ran the old one. So they've allowed us to, they're working together. Stephen Berry helped me get that set up. He's contacted both parties. So that's the goal. And then it will be just transferred to everything to this.
Yeah, we should own the domain, and then they just gotta change the DNS settings.
They just have to do whatever they had to do on their end, and then the
Any other questions or comments?
Looks
Eric, I
great.
think y'all done a great job.
Looks
It's a
great.
tremendous upgrade from what we've had, and appreciate the hard work all of y'all done on it.
Yep,
Looks-
and I'm always
looks
looking for
good.
suggestions, whatever you want. I mean, we don't have to do bios on these pages, whatever. I mean, I just thought it would help people identify you all more and all the county officials more. if
Might be a
they're-
little thinner.
Just throwing that out there.
Can we Photoshop? Can I get here?
Just a thought.
Now, we had anticipated, and we kind of, Eric and I kind of agreed with our trainer that it would be better for just 2 people to be trained, because we thought, well, each department head, and then we thought, no, that's too many, because there's some ADA stuff in there that we have to be in compliance. You get too many hands in there, and then it's not functional anymore. But like the road department, if they want to do a bid, they can upload their documents, because Alan, he in the fire department, they, it just would save them time. And that's the goal, is to just become more efficient, to still follow, be in compliance and all those issues that we have to face.
And will they, like the finance, will they be able to like get a copy of the approved budget and things from the website and that
Yep.
type of thing? So a lot more transparency, which is always good, so.
They'll do open records requests, they can get it from the website.
Yeah, we have a bunch of forms that we're working on building for open records requests and anything like that. And
Occupational taxes.
occupational taxes, that's the PDF's already on there. So the treasurer, there's a separate treasurer page that is probably hold the treasurer and budget. We haven't, I mean, that's pretty much because the finance would have made it focuses a lot of occupational taxes, and that's a huge thing that she does and the finance department does. So we were kind of separating the finance from the treasurer. So the treasurer, you can go look at the page, get budgets, get anything that she has done, put out, and stuff like that.
Awesome.
I'll just say Eric's timing was perfect. He came on board just in time. He's very good. He's very savvy at it, so
Good deal.
he's gonna lead the project.
Well, thank you all. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Appreciate the hard work. All right, now we've got magistrate comments. Magistrate Graham?
Well, I just had talked to a person in my district that's having a problem with creek drainage. And it's a creek that's just filling up. It's a small creek that's in close to the city limits, but it is in the county. And I'm just curious how many, it seems like he's having trouble figuring out how to get this creek cleaned out. It's filling in with rock and sand and stuff. And so, the more those fill in, the less drainage you get. And I'm wondering how many of these creeks around the city are filling in and no one's cleaning them out, which could cause more and more flooding problems. So I don't know what to do with it, but
I don't either. Maybe Alan, maybe he has some people can contact or something like that. I don't know if he does or not, but anything else, Magistrate Graham?
that's it.
Magistrate Thompson?
I have one thing, if it would please the court, and this mostly involves Alan, and I think you're aware of this. I was contacted late last night by Leanne Hampton Robinson and Trapp about the trunk or treat closing the road, and I'll just read it verbatim for the court. The Trapp trunk or treat is set for Saturday, October 30th, 6 to 8 p.m. Last year, we requested the closure of Rogers Fox road sign, and portable lights for the event. We expect a large crowd this year, and safety and social distancing is our #1 priority. I know the item needs to be added to the agenda, but I wasn't sure if there are new procedures in place due to COVID. Please advise on how I should proceed with this request. I told her I would bring it up today, and if it would please the court, I'd offer a motion to allow them to close that road on that date and that time, and if Alan's amenable, to get them the lights and the sign.
All right, we have a motion on the floor by Magistrate Thompson.
What was the name of the road? Name of the road?
Rogers Fox Road.
Rogers, okay.
Is that correct?
Was that a second, Magistrate Elkins?
It
And a
was,
second
yeah.
by Magistrate Elkins. Any discussion?
Alan, you think that's doable, not a problem on your end?
Yeah, she contacted me.
Okay.
And she said you got back with her. She just hadn't heard from the judge. I told her that I'd go on and bring it up today because our next meeting is just 2 days before it. So I wanted to give everybody
Sounds
time.
good, good deal.
Date on that?
October 30th, 6 to 8 p.m.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries.
Thank you all. That's all I got.
All right, Magistrate Blanton.
Yeah, a couple things. I know there's an ARPA report due the end of the month, and we haven't even discussed what we're going to spend our funding on. I'm not really sure what all is supposed to be included in that report. I think it may include some proposals, and I know you can amend it, but when that report is being prepared, I'd like to get a copy just so we can see what's going on. But at some point in time, we really need to sit down and have a work session or something to see exactly. And I know we've got till 2026 to spend the funds, but I think they're expecting some preliminary information, so we need to sit down at some point in time and discuss that anyway. And myself and I think Alan has talked to some folks as well about cleaning the annex building, and those bids kind of go all over the place. One was more inclusive than the other, but I think no matter what we do, we're going to have to bid it. So we need to put that on our horizon, because we do need to do something with that building. It's getting to the point where it needs some maintenance. Some gutters are needing maintenance and needs cleaning pretty bad, and sealing. So, but nonetheless, those folks we've talked to, I think it's going to be pretty obvious. Well, it's going to exceed the threshold for just a personal contract. So we'll need to think about bidding that. But the fellow who painted the courthouse here, I talked with him about it, and there was a local fellow that we've talked to. So, but they're pretty far ranging. But we need to put that on our near plans as well. Third thing, I noticed that Becky Kissick in the health department is doing a drive-through flu clinic out at Legacy Grove. I have been talking with her about doing a very similar thing behind the courthouse. I talked with the city manager briefly about possibly closing these parking places right behind the courthouse one day, having a drive-through clinic primarily for city and county employees, downtown residents, and downtown businesses. City manager's on board with that. She's on board with that. And I know we usually do flu shots anyway, so if we could if it's all right with the court, if we could kind of go towards that, it would be good to provide that service to our employees, the city employees. And Steve is already gone. I think Steve had even mentioned something about flu clinic to Ms. Kissick as well. But if it's all right with the court, if we could kind of coordinate that with the city and pick a date and let staff and the health department go towards that to provide that service, I'd like to do that as well.
All right. Anything else?
No, just a little guidance on information, and if there's no objection to the clinic, I'll get with Janet and you.
We did do it last year.
Right. I mean, this might be the best just drive through, and if the weather's bad, maybe we can use City Hall, but I think it'll get a good response.
All right, Magistrate Davis.
Well, a couple of things, Magistrate Constantopoulos. One of them is, and I'll defer to Alan here. Alan, if you want to come on up. Alan discussed with me earlier this week, and Judge wasn't able to get it on the agenda, but Rockwell Road paving. So as many of you know, Fayette County paved their portion of that, or is paving their portion of that. The state has been paving their portion. Of course, the county has from Clintonville Road to the Fayette County line. Allen had talked to me about while Allen Company is out there doing the work, that we go ahead and let them do that, whatever that is, 3/4 of a mile or so of paving. We do have the money in the budget, the road budget, to do it. The ballpark is about $73,000 to do that. The reason why we wanted to bring it up today, and I don't love bringing this stuff up in magistrate comments, but again, we're kind of at a time sensitive matter because they're out there doing it. So we'd like to be able to potentially get the work done or have them start the work while they're already working on Rockwell Road. And it's unique in that you got three entities. You got Fayette County, Clark County, and KDOT has the largest portion of that. So, Alan, you want to kind of get into?
We've made several repairs on that road. I think in 2019 we paved a section right at the county line. We fixed numerous base failures, probably within the first 500 feet of going off Clintonville Road. A couple of edge breaks going towards the entrance of Yorktown. And I think as someone traveling Rockwell Road, which you that are on Facebook there was like a whole thread about that one road. And it was primarily the state portion, which they are fixing, they're doing the base filters now. If you're traveling from Fayette County to Clark County, and we leave that 3/4 of a mile roughly section of 25-year-old asphalt, it's just gonna create more issues for us. It needs to be resurfaced, and I had the Allen Company give us a price. They're gonna be in the area where they're doing our discretionary paving. So you have Hancock Valley, Wayland Heights subdivision, Rockwell Road. I mean, that entire western end of Clark County is gonna look brand new. And I just think that we leave that mile section, 3/4, whatever it is, it's just gonna be a misfortune for us. And then when we do pave it, we'll have to pay mobilization fees, this, that, and the other. So I'm asking the fiscal court to go ahead and approve that. It'll be on the bills list whenever it finally gets done, probably in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, along with our discretionary. So, that's what I asked the magistrate to bring up. And Judge Pace was one to handle it, but
Did you make that in the form of a
Yeah, was that a
motion?
form of motion?
Well, I would and I will. I guess my question is, in terms of like the bidding, normally, with that being.
using the state agreement like
Okay,
we did.
I got it.
Anything else?
You make the motion, I'll second you.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Second.
So we got a motion by Magistrate Davis and a second by Magistrate Thompson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all. One other question I had, and did you have
Yes, so that was just to pay the county?
county's portion of Rockwell Road?
Okay, thank you.
It's actually Service Road number 1 is the legal name.
Service Road?
Number one.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Magistrate Davis.
One other, and I know, Madam Clerk, you brought this up, so you may have some information as to where we are in terms of time on redistricting. I know I've had a couple people have asked me about that. So do you know much, or have you heard much about
Well, it was
that?
supposed to have been done last year, as you know, but because of the census, it did not get done. The deadline is May 1st.
May 1st.
So I can't have my 3 members, which I've already talked to Judge Pace about that. He's got to appoint 3 members from the community to help me with that. They can unofficially help me, but we can't officially do anything until May 1st.
And I think I heard GIS has already been working on that. So.
He and I are already working on it, and then I contacted the school board to see what their plans were, if they wanted to change that, but they can't really change anything until we get our precincts. And I can tell you right now, we are gonna move a couple of them. We have no choice. So, in other words, like, Spall, I think we have like 2,300 registered voters, and in a Van Meter, we might have like 876. They want that more evened out. And then we have another one on this side of town that we're gonna have to do the same thing, which is what happened years ago when they split Wade's Mill and Egdon. They were one precinct, they went off on their own. So, but May 1st is the deadline.
I have a question in regards to that precinct. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but you all have more direction as a local county clerk on the type of precincts and how many precincts and so forth.
Right.
Have you given any thought on condensing that to maybe having 10 precincts like throughout the county where we don't have 27?
Well, I can tell you for this coming election, I've already submitted my plans, because I have to act like the COVID's still gonna be alive in May. I don't think it's not, but we're gonna use the same 4, we're gonna have 4 county-wide. We're not gonna have the 26 precincts. And with that being said, I'm also trying to get new machines, which I had, talked to you all previously about that. So I've applied for a grant, through HAVA dollars, and I may get 60, 70,000. So that would leave me another 30 or 40. I'll come back to court and talk about that later. But by condensing the places, that'll be more accountable and all that. But I think everybody liked the going anywhere they could and not going at their own precincts. I actually asked all of you all what you all thought about that as well.
So you're gonna redistrict the magisterial precinct or districts before May the 1st?
The judge has to appoint 3.
The judge has to appoint 3 people. It cannot be any of you all, because you all have to vote on that.
I wasn't there, but I was told that somebody did a presentation at the DES meeting on Monday, and they said that the redistricting would take place between the primary and the general election.
It will be,
Mhm.
right, but our
I think the deadline to start is
the
May.
deadline to start.
Okay.
It's
So-
not deadline to complete.
That's right, they cannot be sworn in till May,
Yeah.
whoever the judge picks.
I think he's
That
got to
makes more
April to
sense.
appoint the
And
people, and
then-
then they start meeting
right.
in May.
They will have to work with myself, and thank goodness I have Stephen Berry to help as well, because he's already been compiling some maps. We just can't officially do anything.
So am
But
I-
we do know that we are gonna be moving a few.
Am I
So-
missing something that I could file to run in one district
There you go. It's gonna be
and
in-
win the primary and then not even be in my district?
Exactly.
Well, no,
Exactly.
this, from my understanding, it doesn't take effect until the 2026
Exactly.
election.
Yes.
Okay.
But your district could move while you're in office.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the next term.
Yeah, for the next
Had it
term.
Last year, it would have already been finished
Mhm.
for this coming election.
But, so we're not gonna have a redistricting for this coming
No,
election?
But due to
The
Okay.
delay of
COVID
it was the
census.
delay of the census and everything, that's why they did that. But I think the legislature's doing theirs before the
Yeah.
filing deadline,
So they may have to move their filing deadline, I hear, because,
possibly, I don't know.
It
Yeah, I
could-
think.
It could be moving without.
It's above my pay grade.
Yep.
Anything else, Magistrate Davis?
No, thank you.
Magistrate Elkins?
I have nothing. Thank you.
Okay, just to bring the court, I talked to Jeff Lewis yesterday. I know there's been some questions in regarding the new playground that we had purchased
One second.
for a College Park. Speaking with him, he said the ship date had been pushed back to October 27th.
Yeah.
And this is the second or third time they've pushed back the date, so it's probably out in sea somewhere waiting to try to get into a port, but ultimately, that's what we're waiting on. So as soon as that, and he also talked to Tennis Technologies, who was awarded the bid from the Parks Department on refurbishing all the parks. They've been in contact with them, let them know that they won the bid. They're putting together a timeline, which they'll be able to tell us the start date and when all those parks will be completed. So we should hopefully here in the next week or so have some more information on that. Other than that, I've got nothing further. Just wish the judge and his family, hope they get well quick, and welcome back at our next meeting. If there's nothing else before the court, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Magistrate Blanton,
Second.
second by Magistrate Davis. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion adjourned. Do you need this?
Yep.
Do you need this? Janet, do you need this? Do y'all keep record?